I volunteered to fly and was accepted for aircrew and started my first tour. Not long after, about 3 months after, I had the misfortune to be involved in a crash in which 3 of our crew were killed. We overshot the runway at night. The captain was distracted because the Germans were bombing the flare path on which he was trying to land. We overshot and went into the cliffs. I ended up in an army hospital. I regained consciousness, having been pulled out from the wreck by my mate from Cairns, Bob Draper, DFM. And I remember waking up in hospital stark bollock naked and frozen cold. About 24 hours, and they declared me fit. I had a twisted left ankle and I left there on crutches. And I got 3 weeks survivor's leave and went straight to Edinburgh. I remember in vivid detail the approach. The actual landing was perfect, a beautiful landing, but it was about 1,000 metres too far down the runway, thus 1,000 metres closer to the cliffs. When the captain realised how far down the track he was, he opened the throttles and attempted to take off and got up about 10 or 15 feet, and then we hit the cliffs. The lights went out and I went out. Short Sunderland flying boat. Short because it was made by Short Brothers of Rochester down the Thames in Kent. Beautiful, magnificent aircraft, built like a battleship. Take a lot of punishment, as was meted out to them. On one occasion, the inner port propeller came loose and, due to its rotational direction, travelled outwards and took the other propeller off. So there's a guy flying with no propellers on the port side and 2 on the starboard side. He flew that aircraft 600 miles back to England. The crew started ditching as they were losing height. They ended up throwing out first guns, bombs, ammunition, finally the cooking utensils, the floorboards, the bunks, anything they could break loose, they would throw overboard to lighten the weight. And he flew that aircraft back to Plymouth and was immediately awarded a DSO. Job well done. Our crew, well, we had 7 NCOs and 5 officers, 2 flight engineers, a rigger, 2 wireless operator air gunners, an armourer air gunner, and a general hand gunner. Every night of the war, 2 of the non-commissioned crew slept on board the aircraft as duty hands, armed with a 9mm Sten gun to supposedly defend the aircraft. But what we really did was cook ourselves good food and have a few beers. My position in the crew was armourer air gunner, so I was responsible for the depth charges, bombs, hydraulic gun turrets, anything to do with armament was me. In addition to that, I was a qualified air gunner, so I took my turn in the turrets, as did the other boys. Because of the endurance, 13 hours, it was impossible to sit in the tail turret all the time. You were very cramped up and hunched up, and cold would seep into your knees. I remember always having cold knees. So we used to rotate. A tail gunner would come up to the mid-upper gunner, the mid-upper gunner would go to the nose gunner, and the nose gunner would go to the tail gun position, and we would rotate like that for the total trip. I never felt sleepy. I don't think any of the crew did. I think it was the fact that you knew what you were doing. I think that, kept you awake, I think. One Sunday afternoon, about 5 o'clock, down off Bilbao, Spanish coast, North Spanish coast, we encountered an Italian U-boat on the surface, and he chose to fight it out. So we attacked him and dropped our depth charges on him, or very close to him, and he in turn shot everything at us. But luckily he didn't hit us. We were only credited with a possible kill, not a confirmed kill, but I think he got a good shaking up. We were frequently attacked by aircraft, Junkers Ju-88s, and also a Rado 196, a German naval fighter, single-engine plane, which had 20mm cannons firing forward, and they used to give us a nice old touch-up. Bob Draper and I engaged two of them, and Bob shot, he was in the tail turret, and he shot one down into the sea, and the other one was seen to hit the water, actually hit the water and bounce off, and resume flying in a very erratic manner. And next day we were told that we'd got him because he failed to make home. Keeping a sharp lookout for enemy aircraft and anything else. Submarines, of course, naturally. Depending on what position in the aircraft, you would be expected to cover different areas. The tail gunner, for instance, would protect the aircraft from astern. The mid-upper would have a rotation of 360 degrees, so he would be looking around, constantly going around and around. The nose gunner would be looking ahead. And when you saw something, you would report it to the captain. Using binoculars when appropriate, daytime only, of course. Constant scanning the horizon, looking for the periscope or the entire conning tower. Yes, and of course at the same time looking out for aircraft. And they would appear very rapidly because of the closing speed between the two aircraft. If they're coming towards you, we'd be doing 150, 180 knots, and they'd be doing a similar or a higher speed, and you get the relative closing speed is rapid. A 2-burner kerosene Primus stove on which we could grill, stew, cook, had a little oven, you could make scones if you felt like it, cook beef, stew, carrots, broccoli, sweet turnip, carrots, all in, onions, all in together, and stir it all up. And plenty of it. Much of the meat was horse meat, which I found quite pleasing, quite appetising, a little bit sweeter than beef. Bacon, we got a fair ration of bacon, and we got a very good ration of eggs, more so than the civilian population. I was in Brisbane, luckily, that day, and my sister and I, with other company, we went to the old Bellevue Hotel, and there we partied on till about 2 or 3 a.m, and I can remember a competition where you would buy stamps, lick them, put them on a coin, and try and put them on the ceiling. Depending on which side they hit, they'd stick or they'd fall back again. And that's how we passed some of the evening away, with a load of grog. Impossible to get a taxi. We walked home about 7k and got home in daylight. End of the war.